People imagine the first fracture as something loud, a flash in the sky, a clock exploding, the ground opening beneath your feet. But that is not how it began. It began in an attic, a room filled with objects everyone else had forgotten, boxes no one had opened in years, clocks that displayed different hours, maps marked with places that should never have been connected, and one boy who had inherited more questions than answers. Eli did not enter that attic because he believed in time travel. He entered because he wanted to know what happened to me. That is the danger of unanswered questions. Eventually, fear becomes weaker than curiosity. The ring had been waiting for him. I wish I could tell you that I hid it well. I wish I could say that Eli discovered it by accident. But some objects do not stay hidden. They wait until the right person is close enough to hear them. When Eli touched the ring, the attic did not disappear immediately. First, the clock stopped. Every hand, every pendulum, every uneven tick. Then the light changed, not brighter, older. For a moment, the walls seemed to remember every person who had ever stood between them. Eli saw the shadow before he understood what it was. Tall, motionless, watching from between the shelves. The shadow did not chase him at first. That is important. It watched, it studied, it waited to see what the ring would do. Then the fracture opened. Sound arrived before the place did. Music, thousands of voices, wind moving across a crowd, the roar of people sharing one moment together. Eli was no longer in the attic. He stood inside a concert from another time, surrounded by people who could not see that he did not belong there. They danced around him. They sang words he had never heard. They carried memories that had not happened to him. But the ring remained on his hand. His clothing remained the same. His backpack remained over his shoulder. That was when he understood this was not a dream. Dreams change you to fit the world. Fractures bring you into the world exactly as you are. Eli searched the crowd for an explanation and found another mystery. A man stood still while everyone else moved. He pointed behind Eli. The shadow was there. It had followed him, or perhaps it had arrived first. That distinction matters more than Eli knows. The crowd could not see it. They moved around the shadow as if darkness had taken the shape of a person, and no one found that unusual. Then the shadow pointed toward the stage, and Eli saw me, younger than he remembered, alive, but not in the way he hoped. I tried to warn him. I tried to explain that the moment he was seeing was not the present and not truly the past. It was something trapped between them. But the fracture began freezing. The music stopped. The crowd stopped. Light remained suspended above the stage. Only Eli and I could move. There are few things more frightening than standing inside a moment after time has abandoned it. I reached for him. I had only seconds. I told him he should not be there. He told me I was alive. I wanted to say yes. A grandfather wants to give his grandson hope, even when hope may be the most dangerous lie available. But I was not alive in the way he understood life. I was a memory with awareness, an echo that still knew his name, a piece of myself caught inside an hour that refused to end. The shadow appeared behind me. I tried to finish the warning. I told Eli not to trust. Then it touched my shoulder. The fracture released me. The concert returned. Music crashed over Eli. The crowd began moving again, and I was gone. Eli ran. He believed the shadow had taken me. Perhaps it did. Perhaps it saved him from hearing something he was not ready to know. That is the difficulty with the shadow. It behaves like a threat. It warns like a guardian. It follows like a hunter. And it remembers Eli as if it knew him before he was born. The first fracture was not the moment Eli began traveling through time. It was the moment time noticed him. Once that happens, returning home does not mean you escaped. It only means the fracture now knows where you live.
You again.
Hey, I'm trying to send flowers to my girl online, but I don't know where to go.
Where are my flowers?
I got you.
Before you shop, check
waiting
Value
for the
Savings
deal.
Club. We help you find deals from multiple categories, including gifts, apparel, and more. Save more, live smarter. Discover more, save more, live better.
Join Value Savings Club today and start saving instantly.
Our hood, our brand.
Grandpa Oxley Log 2, Las Vegas, 1977. Eli expected the attic to return. Instead, he struck wet pavement. Rain covered the street in fractured reflections. Neon signs burned above him. Vintage cars moved through traffic. Music spilled from clubs, and cigarette smoke hung beneath the lights. A sign gave him the answer he was not prepared to receive. Las Vegas, 1977. He had not traveled through a memory this time. He had landed inside a functioning moment. People saw him. They brushed against him. A woman told him to watch where he was going. The city did not behave like a dream because it was not waiting for Eli to understand it. It continued without him. That is one of the first rules of a fracture. The past does not stop to explain itself. Eli stood in clothing that did not belong to the decade, holding a ring no one around him understood. He was surrounded by thousands of people, but he had never been more alone. Then one man stopped, older, dark coat, sharp eyes. He looked directly at Eli, not through him, at him. The stranger recognized the ring before he recognized the boy wearing it. Fear crossed his face. Real fear, the kind that arrives when a person sees something he hoped had been destroyed. He asked Eli where he found it. Eli asked who he was. Neither received an answer. The stranger looked beyond Eli into the crowd. Then he said the words Eli would hear many times afterward. You need to leave. Now. Eli wanted to know why. That is natural. Young people believe explanations create safety. They rarely do. Sometimes an explanation only gives fear a name. The crowd began slowing. A laugh stretched unnaturally. Smoke stopped moving. Headlights flickered. People stepped out of rhythm with themselves, as if the city had become damaged film pulled through a projector. The stranger looked at Eli and said, "It found you." Then he disappeared, not walked away, not hidden, gone. Eli followed the sound of music because it was the only thing still moving naturally. The street opened into another concert. Thousands of people filled the space. Stage lights cut through the darkness. Bass traveled through the ground and into his chest. For a moment, the fracture felt alive. That is why they are dangerous. Not every fracture looks like a nightmare. Some feel like the greatest night of your life. Some offer beauty. Some offer history. Some offer the impossible chance to stand near people the world will remember forever. And while you're watching the stage, something else is watching you. The shadow stood inside the crowd, completely still. No one reacted to it. Eli backed away as the ring pulsed, and the watch beneath his hoodie answered. Ring and watch. Two objects built for different purposes, reacting as though they had been waiting to find each other. Eli did not understand what the watch was doing. Neither did I at first. The ring finds fractures. The watch measures what the fractures take. Time, memory, identity. Every journey leaves something behind. A feeling, a detail, a version of yourself that may continue existing after you leave. That is why some people appear twice. That is why Eli sometimes remembers conversations that have not happened. That is why Miss B looks at him as if she is recalling two different lives at once. Las Vegas taught Eli that the fractures were not random. Someone had been there before him. Someone knew the ring. Someone feared the shadow. The year mattered. The city mattered. The concert mattered. But the greater clue was the stranger. He understood that Eli's arrival was not merely unusual. It was dangerous. The shadow moved closer. The watch glowed. Eli ran through the crowd while the world distorted around him. Every light became a line. Every voice became static. Every face briefly resembled someone he knew. Then the fracture took him again. Eli believed the ring was carrying him from one location to another. But the ring does not work like a vehicle. It does not ask where you want to go. It responds to pressure inside time. It pulls toward unresolved hours, moments containing too much fear, ambition, grief, violence, wonder, or memory. Las Vegas was filled with all of them. That made it easy for the fracture to open. But the question Eli should have asked was not, "Why did the ring send me here?" The question was, "Who needed me to see this?" The stranger may have known. The shadow certainly knew. And somewhere inside that city, another version of the hour was already waiting for Eli to return.
Some secrets are heavier than time itself, Eli. Don't let it catch you.
Keep it going, hold your nose and dance.
Dance. Dance.
Hey, Medford, y'all smell that?
Smells like fish. Now help me understand something. How many husbands have each of y'all had again?
Pose and dance.
I'm proud to present Value Savings Club.
I'm having the best time out here.
Grandpa Oxley Log 3. The Watchmaker's Warning. Every machine teaches you something about its creator. A clock teaches you what someone believed time should look like. Orderly, circular, predictable. A hand moves forward. An hour ends. Another begins. But the fractures do not follow clocks. They follow memory. That is why the watchmaker frightens me. Not because he built the watches, because he believed time could be controlled by giving it rules. Eli first imagined the watchmaker as the answer to everything. Who built the watch? The watchmaker. Who understood the ring? The watchmaker. Who could close the fractures? The watchmaker. That is how legends begin. A name becomes a solution before anyone understands the person carrying it. But when the watchmaker appeared, he did not look powerful. He looked afraid. The air bent before he arrived. A fracture seam opened in the corner of Miss B's classroom, and he stepped through as though crossing a doorway that existed only for him. This time he was not flickering. He was focused, calm, almost whole. Eli asked what he had seen. The watchmaker told him it was a memory that did not belong to him. Not yet. Those two words changed everything. Not yet. They meant the memory would belong to Eli eventually. They meant the future had already begun reaching backward. Miss B asked why she remembered it too. The watchmaker looked at her with recognition. He told her she had been there. She denied it. She believed him and denied him at the same time. I could hear it in her voice. He told them they were both present when the ice wall broke. Eli asked when, how, why. The watchmaker explained that the hour that remembers was not linear. It did not move forward. It did not move backward. It moved toward the person who broke it. Eli understood before Miss B did. He whispered one word, me. The watchmaker nodded. Then he looked at Miss B and explained that the hour also moved toward the person who witnessed it. Miss B whispered the same answer, me. That is the burden of memory. We assume we own our memories because they happen to us. But what happens when a memory comes from a life you have not lived yet? What happens when your future remembers you before you arrive? The watchmaker told Eli he was remembering the future. Then he said the future was remembering him. I have spent years trying to understand that sentence. Perhaps time is not a road. Perhaps it is attention. Perhaps some moments become so powerful that they begin searching for the people who created them. Eli asked what would happen when the memory became real. The watchmaker's voice fractured. He said the wall would return. Cold spread across the classroom floor. The lights dimmed. Breath became visible. Miss B grabbed Eli's hand and told him they needed to leave. The watchmaker gave them the truth no one wants to hear. There was nowhere to go. The hour that remembers had already begun. Later, when the watchmaker returned, he was damaged, flickering, unable to hold his body together. He collapsed in the attic and admitted something I never expected to hear. He could not stop the hour because it was older than he was. The watchmaker had not created the deepest system. He had only built tools to survive it. Miss B asked what the hour wanted. He told her it wanted to finish remembering. Eli asked what it remembered. The watchmaker looked at him. You. That answer placed a weight on Eli no child should carry. The watchmaker claimed Eli broke the wall, opened the first fracture, began the hour. Miss B told Eli not to listen, but denial does not erase recognition. The watchmaker called her Celeste. She reacted with fear and anger. She demanded he stop using that name. Names are powerful inside fractures. A name can belong to a person, a memory, a version, a life removed from history. The shadow stepped forward. The watchmaker warned Eli not to enter the opening forming beneath the attic floor. He called it the hour below hours, the one that remembers, the one that waits. He never finished the sentence. That is how most important warnings arrive. Incomplete, interrupted, too late. Eli believes the watchmaker holds the truth. I believe the watchmaker holds one version of it, and a person carrying only one version of the truth can be more dangerous than someone who lies.
At night, you expect him to settle. He doesn't. Even at rest, he's already planning, moving mentally, beyond everyone else. He never fully disconnects. light kept getting brighter, hotter, stronger. Eli reached into his pocket slowly. The second he touched the ring, everything shifted. For a moment, the classroom was gone. Somewhere else, another place, another time.
The storm had already begun before she saw the water change. That was the part her grandmother tried to explain. The danger was never the moment the waves became violent. The danger was how long you had already been traveling before you realized the storm had found you. The boat moved slowly through black winter water. Rain struck the wood in soft, uneven rhythms. The lantern near the mast swayed gently with the motion of the sea, and somewhere beyond the darkness.
Grandpa Oxley Log 4, the ice wall. Remembers people call it the ice wall because they need it to be a place. A location can be mapped, measured, avoided. A memory is harder. A memory can follow you. It can appear in a classroom, an attic, a dream, a photograph taken before you were born. It can wait inside someone else until you are close enough to awaken it. Eli once said the ice wall was remembering him. Then he admitted something even more troubling. He believed he was remembering it. Miss B asked why he would break the wall. Eli did not know. That was what frightened him. People are taught to fear what they do not understand. But there is another kind of fear, the fear that somewhere inside you an answer already exists. Miss B began seeing snow, not imagining it, seeing it. Her attention would drift away from the classroom. Her breath would catch. The temperature around her would fall. She saw a frozen city, people trapped in motion, running, screaming, reaching toward something outside the memory. She saw Eli, older or younger, she could not tell. Time does not preserve age correctly inside the wall. She saw herself too, but not as Miss B, as Celeste. The name carried a history she did not remember and an emotion she could not explain. Every time someone called her Celeste, she reacted as if part of her recognized a danger the rest of her had forgotten. The watchmaker said she had been there at the beginning and at the end. Those words sound impossible only if time is a straight line. Inside the hour that remembers beginning and ending may occupy the same place. The frost spread through the classroom. It climbed the walls. Clocks slowed. The shadow appeared. Miss B believed it knew her. Eli agreed. The shadow pointed toward her, then Eli, then the ring. It did not attack. It communicated with gestures because either it could not speak or speaking would reveal too much. That difference remains unresolved. The floor began opening, not breaking. Opening. A doorway formed beneath the attic, revealing the frozen city from their visions. This time, the city contained people, not statues, not ghosts. People suspended inside the final instant before something terrible occurred. Eli wanted to step closer. Miss B begged him not to. The watchmaker warned him that the opening led to the hour below hours. But warnings have never been enough to stop Eli. Curiosity is the inheritance I regret giving him. The ice wall is not simply cold. It preserves buildings, voices, fear, possibilities. It keeps moments from finishing. That is why the people inside appear trapped, their hour never completed. The world moved forward without them, but the wall continued carrying their final second. Imagine holding one breath for 40 years. Imagine reaching for someone and never touching them. Imagine knowing disaster is arriving but living forever in the instant before impact. That is the wall. Eli believes he broke it. The watchmaker believes he broke it. The shadow behaves as if Eli is connected to it, but none of them understand why. Perhaps Eli broke the wall in the future. Perhaps he broke it in a timeline that was erased. Perhaps the wall chose him because breaking it is the only way to release what it contains. Or perhaps the wall is not a prison, Perhaps it is protection. That possibility should frighten everyone. Miss B asked whose memory they were experiencing. Eli did not answer because he was afraid he knew. Some memories do not belong to individuals. They belong to events, to places, to worlds. The ice wall remembers everyone who stood near it when the fracture began. It remembers Eli. It remembers Miss B. It remembers the watchmaker. And I believe it remembers me. That is why the expedition photograph exists. 1977. I stand before the wall looking the same age Eli remembers. The photograph should be impossible. But impossibility is only a word people use when evidence arrives before explanation. Eli found the photograph because the wall wanted him to. The question is whether it wanted rescue or recognition.
Some say nothing happens, that the journey just ends. Others say that's where it begins. But none of them explain why.
Class was quiet, everyone focused, except Eli, because the ring started glowing again. Time shifted. Einstein waited. Then, back to class.
Grandpa Oxley, Log 5, the hour, below hours. There are hours measured by clocks, hours measured by sunlight, hours measured by work, sleep, hunger, or waiting. Then there are hours no clock was built to measure, the spaces beneath recorded time, the moments removed from history because allowing them to remain would change everything that followed. The watchmaker called one of them the hour below hours. He warned Eli not to enter. That alone should tell you how dangerous it is. The watchmaker has walked through fractures others could not see. He has survived timeline shifts that erased entire versions of people. He built devices capable of measuring instability. But when the attic floor opened, he was afraid. White light spilled through the seam. Beyond it waited the frozen city. Eli recognized it from visions. Miss B recognized it from memories she insisted were not hers. People stood frozen in the streets. Some ran. Some reached for each other. Some stared upward at whatever had been approaching when the hour stopped. The shadow stood over Eli and Miss B. It had followed them into the attic, or returned with them. The difference was becoming impossible to determine. The attic froze from the inside out. Wood became ice. Walls cracked. Clocks stopped. The ordinary room where Eli found the ring began transforming into the place every fracture seemed to remember. The watchmaker stumbled through another seam and collapsed. His body flickered. His voice broke apart between words. Eli demanded to know why he could not stop it. The watchmaker admitted the hour was older than him. That confession ended one illusion. The watchmaker was not the master of time. He was another survivor. Miss B asked what the hour wanted. To finish remembering, he said. Eli asked what it was remembering. You. The watchmaker blamed Eli for breaking the wall, opening the first fracture, and beginning the hour. Miss B rejected the accusation. She tried to protect Eli from the words. But the watchmaker turned toward her and called her Celeste. He told her she had witnessed the beginning and the end. The wall whispered her name, not Miss B. Celeste. She covered her ears, but names do not need sound to reach the part of us that remembers. The shadow moved forward. Eli raised the ring. It glowed gold. The shadow stopped. Miss B believed it was afraid of the ring. Eli asked why it stayed. The shadow pointed toward Eli, then Miss B, then the attic door, then the floor. It was not retreating. It was leading them. The fracture widened. The watchmaker begged Eli not to enter. Eli asked why. The watchmaker tried to explain. The hour below hours remembers. It waits. It Then he collapsed. The warning remained unfinished. Miss B held Eli's arm. She begged him not to move closer. But inside the opening, the frozen people began looking less like strangers. One face resembled Eli. Another resembled Miss B. Another looked like someone I once knew. That is the cruelty of fractured memory. It uses recognition as a doorway. The attic eventually returned, but the hour did not close. The shadow appeared again in the corner. Miss B whispered that it knew her. Eli said it knew both of them. The wall whispered one word: remember. Eli lifted the ring. The shadow reached toward them. White light consumed the attic. That is where the free story appears to end. But endings are agreements between storytellers and audiences. Time never agreed. The hour below ours remains open. The frozen city still waits. The watchmaker is failing. Miss B is remembering a life belonging to Celeste. The shadow is moving closer, and Eli still believes the ring is helping him return home. I wish that were true. The ring does not return Eli home. It returns him to the place where the next answer is waiting. Sometimes that place is his attic, sometimes a concert, sometimes an empire, sometimes a city beneath ice. One day, the ring may return him to the first fracture, and when it does, Eli will finally understand the warning I could never finish. The shadow is not chasing him because it wants the ring. It is chasing him because it remembers what Eli becomes when the final hour opens.
Every time I think I'm back where I started, something follows me. Maybe you're not returning to the same place.
That's what worries me. The Ouroboros time files weren't supposed to connect.
What do you mean?
They started as separate events. Now Eli, if something's bothering you, you can tell me about it. At first,
He tried to ignore it.
Eli, how did you do that? Eli, put that down. Open, damn it!
Discover the melting D, timeless comfort, crafted D. Good, our brand.
Join Value Savings Club and save today. Discover more, save more, live better. Discover more, save more, live better.
Join Value Savings Club today and start saving instantly.